what you see, like a battery. I'm staying charged on my feet, I'm like a factory. Dropping lines like an assembly. I'm staying on point, it's my strategy. Feel like they track.
How you doing, guys? Welcome to Zuka Tube, and today we're going to be reviewing a movie called Lady Ballers. I know it's a pretty funny name, right? This just came out December 1st, 2023. And I'm going to go through, talk a little bit about it. I'll read you the summary. We'll go through the pros and cons. I'll give you my review, and then at the end we'll do a little spoilers section, right? Now, I'm going to read the summary they got. This just came out. It's from a company called Daily Wire. They're a conservative news outlet, and they do like pop culture content as well now. All right, listen to this. Lady Ballers is a 2023 comedy film starring, directed, and co-written by Jeremy Boring, co-CEO of conservative media company The Daily Wire. It also stars Daniel Considine, Jake Crane, David Cohn, Blaine Crane, and Tyler Fisher. That's kind of odd. All the other movie descriptions, when you look them up on Google, gives you the actual summary and all this. This just kind of right away just tells you that they're involved with conservative media outlets and gives you a couple of the main actors right on there rather than having to look up the cast. It's very unusual. I never see it like that when I look up a movie. But, you know, they're kind of just trying to put out their red flags, you know. But, okay, so I'm going to break down a summary since they don't really give you one, apparently. You know, when you look it up on Google like that, you have to go through and click a couple links to then get a summary of the film. But basically, this is a guy, he's a coach. He was like a championship coach, you know, for a high school back when he was younger. And now he's doing some rec coaching and stuff like that. And he gets fired from his job, and he finds out some stuff from his daughter. He's separated from his wife, but he finds out some things from his daughter about all kinds of weird new, you know, sexual orientation propaganda nonsense going on in the schools, right? You know, the kids like, oh, you know, so-and-so, this girl showed me their penis at school. And he's like, what? You know, so, but either way, he's going through and he's learning these random things, and he gets fired from his job, and he goes to work at a place he worked at years ago, but it's been converted to this weird like drag brunch place. And he sees one of the guys who played for him in high school. So he propositions him to get back in the game, and he finds a way to start coaching again. And he gets this idea to get the high school team, championship team, back together and get them to identify as women and then compete, you know? So this is a pretty wild kind of Joanna Man-esque sounding film right off the bat. But it's got a different kind of aspect to it because this is a guy who's using this, and everybody knows that these people are transitioning, you know what I mean? And are thinking they're stunning and brave the whole time and are clearly aware that they are men. They're going to say they used to be men, but they're men, you know? And it's just a funny kind of goofy, crude comedy, very similar to things you would see in like the late 90s, early 2000s, you know, very nostalgic in that kind of aspect. It's got a lot of great jokes in there, along with some stuff that kind of has some sentimental value to it, you know, a little camaraderie aspect, obviously, because it's a sports film. And yeah, it's just really kind of romp. It's not like super complex or anything too, but since this is a conservative media outlet and they're touching base on a pop culture issue and an actual issue right now in our country as well as other countries with different types of ideologies, they're making a major commentary on that with this film. And they definitely have some issues where they're kind of a little preachy in some areas, or they go out of their way to make this kind of draggy, kind of over explanation of certain things rather than just letting things play out as they normally would, and people just have their reactions or their exaggerated reactions in some aspects for the comedy perspective of things, and like just let it roll, you know? And I also thought that this was a little bit of a longer film than it needed to be. I like comedies that are a little bit more short and sweet overall, and this was a little bit longer, more towards the 2-hour range or so, and I was like, you know, more like, man, an hour, a little bit, maybe an hour and a half would be like, you know, perfect. But yeah, a lot of the jokes are funny. The characters do really well. The acting is so because you got a lot of people that probably didn't want to be in a film like this because of the backlash they would get, and things like that. And so it's a lot of people that actually work for the company, like people that you would see doing regular news commentary and stuff like that on a regular basis if you're a subscriber to the Daily Wire. And so that's really cool, just seeing them kind of have fun with it and joke around and all these like silly jokes in relation to the whole trans thing. Like, these guys are just destroying these women playing the sport, and like while they're doing it, they're making quotes like, oh, I'm with her and this and that, and they have like an ageist thing where the one guy goes back and plays like little kids t-ball and just annihilates a girl, like, and they make all these jokes like that are funny and stuff that obviously people would be way too offended by in a typical mainstream film. They get to just have fun with, right? And so that's really interesting. Yeah, but like I said, there's a little bit of cons as far as the length of it. That the editing of the film overall and the look of the film is nice. They do a real good job. Their production value is great. The little things that they did, all the practical effects or whatever, nothing crazy over the top. It's a sports movie, but everything looked good. Nothing looked like overly cheap or anything like that. It looked like they really put the work in to get, the I guess settings they would need for certain scenes, right? Yeah, it was just an all right time. It's a fun movie. It's good for if you just want to kick back and get that nostalgic feel of some of those old, more crude comedies. It's not super vulgar, but it's obviously something that would be deemed like too offensive for, the average movie theater and stuff. So if that's something you're interested in, definitely you'll enjoy it. As far as like, 1 to 10, I would give this like a 7. It's decent. It's funny. It's overall something you could just watch, have a good time, have a couple laughs, put it on in the background. It's not too over the top and crude that, you can't have, your kids in the room for, or something like that. It's just something you could just play, have a good laugh, and just carry on with things, and I'm really excited to see where they go in the future with any of this kind of pop culture commentary they're doing, because the other stuff they're doing is a lot more serious and a lot out of this preachy realm. It's more just really good, solid like content. So this is off the beaten path and actually still very enjoyable. So I'm interested to see if they do anything else like this in the future. Let's get into the spoilers here, and I'll talk a little bit more about a couple things.
Spoilers.
Okay, so towards the end, you see this kind of thing where they're playing and they're going head to head, with another team that also brings in a bunch of dudes just saying they're girls, and it just becomes men's basketball. And these guys are just like old high school players versus dudes that are actually legit players. So it gets to a funny moment where like they're obviously going to get annihilated, and the journalist that was kind of, honeypotting, Jeremy's character, the main character, he kind of like gets double crossed by her. And so it's like her team that she's kind of playing the field on everything and reporting on everything and making the money on it, at the same time. So it's real interesting. And then they kind of have this heartfelt family moment where they decide to, throw a little curveball in there for the journalist lady and make like his daughter and her friends play against these guys. And they're just like, they obviously can't do it. They're going to let them, win, or that you would think, right? But it kind of just right away snaps everybody back out of it. And you're like, yeah, we get it. This is getting a little out of hand, right? And the way they did it, it's sentimental. It's not really comedic towards the end like that. So that wasn't really the resolution I was hoping for. I was hoping for just them to drive it home and have a couple real good laughs at the end. And then they had this weird play off of Matt Walsh's like hippie character that dated his ex-wife at the end, where he was like setting this up the whole time, master plan type deal. And that was kind of just like stupid, but his character is funny as hell to watch. So I just enjoyed watching him on screen because the guy is so the opposite end of the spectrum in real life. But again, that's a 7 out of 10. Let me know what you think of this. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Zuka2 out.
cause you can't do shit without me.
Real like the radio and never play it, but that's cool. The enemy's supposed to hate it.